Welcome in. Long time no see. This is the Second Cut podcast, and today we are rocking through that European Ryder Cup squad. We'll get you up to date on all the news and notes, and we'll get you set for whatever else might come up. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Gregors.
Gentlemen, long time no see. I hope everybody enjoyed their off season. It's been way too long. I've missed you. I'm glad we were able to get together tonight.
Mark Immelman is here, Mr. Mark.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. But here's a question. Is it too early to hate football already?
Is it because of that Alabama Crimson Tide shellacking they took?
How bad was that stuff? We were in Tuscaloosa, right? And so the girls' golf team over there, they have a watch party, and so Tracy and I, my wife, and I and Sophia get invited, and we all decked out in our regalia, and we go there, and it's like roll tide, roll tide, roll tide, and the next thing, it's just freaking a bludgeoning. Oh gosh, you should have seen the mood in Tuscaloosa, and how many of the all-time or the long-time fans are already calling for one head coach's head.
Yeah, so I have never seen a coach get on the hot seat so quickly. After
he was on the hot seat a little while last year, and I think this may be, or if there's one more, this the camel's back is broken.
This is so this is his second year. I can't remember when Nick Saban, how long. Okay, year number two. The thing that I'm interested in, Mark, is they are 37-point favorites this week against UL Monroe, and I think they're going to take out some frustrations on that squad.
I'm told by little birdie, who's reliable, that Coach Saban was out practicing golf yesterday. So he's back in town. Okay. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing to me. I heard so many people the following day talking about what the buyout was. And if De Boer was bought out mid-season, what he gets. If he gets fired in December, what he's going to get. And so people, I mean, it's not, this is a done deal, but there's some antsy folks up there in West Alabama.
They're not used to losing, Greg. That's the problem.
No, but even more important than losing is, is Florida State unranked?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So, I mean, that's a problem. The loss is a problem. But what's really concerning, if you're the coach, is the reports of what the players were doing, like being out at 1, 2 in the morning, kind of doing whatever they want. Like all that's if you're contributing to that program, like Mark, I'm sure you'll be one of their significant boosters.
I'm sure they're already hitting you up for cash on that one.
Yeah.
That
becomes a real problem.
I got to win the Survivor contest so I can make my donation.
That's right. Yeah, that stuff wouldn't fly in Nick Saban's program, would it, Greg? That would not fly.
And that's a huge deal, right? It's a big difference. You got 18-year-olds with potentially like multi-million dollar deals, and it takes it's a big job to hold them in place, right, and make them abide by laws. And it's not something, it's something that Nick Saban can do, but I don't think there's very many coaches that can do it. It can become a problem real quick, and it looks like it has already down there, unfortunately.
Go ahead, Mark.
I've just sent you guys a hilarious video that my daughter, don't play it now. There's some choice language in there, please. That my daughter sent me, because obviously she's all in now, right? And we're watching the game, and she's complaining about this, and so can't get open, and the offensive line looks like a sieve. And I'm like, gosh, who are you? But she's been there long enough. And she sends me this the other night, and I giggled at this spoof that all these people are coming out with now. So it's in the group chat over there.
We'll check it out, and we expect a big win from that Crimson Tide this week. Speaking of big wins, speaking of Mark winning the NFL Survivor, speaking of getting a little bit of a payday, all things are a go. Our NFL Survivor contest is about to fill. So if you've been waiting, do not wait any longer. There are currently, as of right now, 70 spots remaining. That is already that's fewer spots than we added today. So this will not make it to Sunday. This will likely fill tonight or tomorrow. So if you were waiting until Saturday or Sunday, you will be out of time. Do not do that. So hat tip to everybody who came out. We are outpacing every single one of the public leagues on Splash right now. If we fill this, the minimum that first place will be like 27 grand. So someone's gonna someone's gonna get a little bit of something. The link is in the description, but we have effectively filled this on a Wednesday night before the season starts.
Well, bravo, boys, and bravo, Rick. That is great work, and it's going to be a fun contest. Rick, I read your newsletter article because I've followed fantasy football. I have a somewhat of an understanding of how that game works. The survivor pool I'm a little like what I just wanted to know what the philosophy is. I like yours; it makes sense. So I've been getting into it a little bit during the off season, during the PGA Tour off season. I can't wait to play, especially with all of you.
Man, Rick, I need to say this because, I love football. I love the Falcons. It's for my sins. And when I'm paying attention, because I'm in a fantasy league with a couple other guys, I basically favorite players so I can see how they're doing in fantasy. And then I watch the Falcons, and then I'm pulling against the Bucks and pulling against the Saints and pulling against Carolina, the NFC South. Now, man, I was reading the updates on who's projecting what and everything else. I'm so into this NFL season right now because of this game. So kudos to you and to Mina and to the folks at Splash. I'm all in.
And you might be able to, Mark, pick on what one survivor strategy is, just to pick on a bad team. Right?
Yeah. So you pick against
way to do it.
Pick against the Saints every week.
Yeah, that might be an option.
Well, that's kind of how I'm going about it. I'm just going to find the weakest. And I know that's dangerous in the NFL because no one's weak and anything can happen at any time. But yeah, that's sort of my plan as far as I can do.
That'll fill maybe tonight, at the very latest tomorrow. The other thing is interesting about this, Greg, is this very much mirrors the growth of one and done. One and done has exploded in the last couple of years now that it's available online. NFL Survivor has as well. There is a contest at Circa in Las Vegas for NFL Survivor that just crossed $15 million to the winner, which is probably going to get closer to like 20 million. Now that'll get split. That will likely get split multiple ways because there will be multiple entries that go the distance, but these are still winner take all. I think there's going to have to be a point in the future where, like, once you start winning 8 or 9 weeks, you're getting some chunk of the prize. It's just too much money now. It's getting outrageous.
15 million for one person. You lose in week, what is it, 18 now? Week 7, week 18. You lose in week 18. You go from being like they have in fantasy in DFS projections,
right?
You're projected to win $8 million, and all of a sudden it's nothing.
Yeah. And there's no prize for second place. Your equity would go for, okay, if you're like, okay, there's 5 entries left. My equity, this entry is worth like $3 million. I will either win 15 or I will win nothing.
That is crazy. So, right. They got to have, like, if you make it to week 10,
I think,
yeah. And then, maybe 12, I don't know, some kind of payout structure.
Yeah. So given we live in a democracy and we acknowledge that Rick and Armina are the king and queen of this democracy, I'm going to lobby. As this thing continues to grow, Rick, Mr. Commissioner, King, you don't think you should maybe make it top 3, folks, or are the rules already set and it's only one winner?
Historically, survivors have been the survivor, the lone survivor. Now, I personally think they are getting too big to do that. So I will see. I assume Splash can do that. I don't know if any other contests are currently anything but winner take all. But yes, I absolutely think it should be top some number of users.
Yeah, man, I got a donation to make it Bama. That team's getting beefed up.
Well, Mark, for the donation at Bama, you want it to be winner take all. You just got to win.
Yeah, exactly right. Everybody but the winner wants it to be some type of payouts. All right, let me get a little chum in the water here. Let me get you guys back off of your summer vacation and get you back into some news. And I will warn you, it is a light news week. Here's the latest out of the golf world, besides the fact that the European team is settled. We will talk about that in just one second. Another December made for TV match has been announced. We don't know the full list of players, but Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler are going to compete or headline a skills challenge in December, the 17th to be exact. Now, this is a little bit different, Mark, than what we have seen before. We've seen, one-on-one. We've seen 2v2. We've seen players matched up with F1 racers and quarterbacks. This is not necessarily going to be a match. There's going to be a 14 club challenge. There's going to be a drive, chip, and putt. There's going to be an alternate shot timed shootout. This is the next evolution of the offseason.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I read some about it. I was like, my initial response was, okay, another one. But then I got to thinking a little bit when it comes to the skills stuff. Back in the day, remember the Big Break on Golf Channel?
Yeah, now they do. Now it has been so long since the Big Break. They now have a show called Big Break. Where are they now?
Okay, well, there you go. Well, some of those big breaks, when they have like a playoff and someone's going to fall out and stuff like that, that made for some really interesting viewing. Now, I don't know what the numbers on the thing were like. They couldn't have been great because the show got canned. But then, when people start, getting creative with content and stuff like this, that's where I feel like you hit a bit of a sweet spot. And you guys all the time are sort of going, well, the Tour Championship should be match play. And these are just different spins on competitive golf. This is a different spin. So it's something interesting. It's unique. You have TGL and that sort of stuff. I think it's pretty cool. I'll be tuning in to see how the skills challenge goes, because for the last few editions of whatever it was, I was like, meh, whatever.
This is being pitched as a rapid fire competition. Every single one of these bullet points, Greg, there's a timed element. It's about speed. It's about closest to the pin. It's about how far you can hit it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The PGA Tour, doesn't have an all-star game, doesn't have a skills competition like some other leagues get access to. This very much feels like we're in throw some stuff at the wall and see what people like mode.
Yes, it does. I will say I much prefer this to the match.
Okay.
Or any rendition of the match. Because in some way, the match is trying to be golf, and there's just not enough there. Partly because it's match play, and that just doesn't work well on TV. One of the reasons why I've never said the Tour Championship should be match play. Because I just don't think it makes for a good product. This kind of thing is very interesting, Rick. You mentioned the pace. How long is this going to be? I'm reading this as my pace is getting quicker and quicker and quicker. My talking is getting quicker and quicker and quicker. I'm like, I could watch this thing in an hour. This could be an hour show. And you got Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy involved. Now, I don't know if all the formats or all the games are exactly what I would do in a skills competition, but I'm a big fan of this general concept. And if you're looking for some silly season ideas, I think this is a whole lot better than, getting some quarterbacks to play against Rory, right? It seems like Rory is always doing something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great. It's great access. This could be a really cool way to include him.
14 club challenge, time shootout, Rory versus Scottie, drive, chip, and putt. The other 6 golfers will be determined in the upcoming weeks. We've got to start this right. They need to draft those golfers. Do not assign them to squads. Line them up on the wall like we are at the playground, and flip a coin. Flip a coin for first pick. And I want to see who the last man picked is. That's what I want to see. That'll be electric enough.
Look, that's a great idea. It would be very compelling. Hopefully, how many other guys are there going to be? 4 guys on a team?
Yeah, so 6 more in these 2.
Right, so it'd be quick. Just
take 5 seconds.
Right, it'd be quick, which I'm just, please, don't tell me how this all works. Like I don't need this big intro show. I don't need a half hour of this is what we're doing today. I think that's one of the things that early TGL they took too long setting everything up. Like almost like it was a Alabama football game.
Yeah, but the stadium got blown down. Remember the thing it collapsed in weather, so that pushed them back a little bit.
Well, no,
you're saying like an education process.
I'm talking like on the show. Like,
here's how the game works.
Here's how the game. Yes, exactly. You can do it very quickly. I'd be like, let's get this in. This whole thing needs to happen in an hour. I don't know if there's an end time on there. I know it's December 17th, but I don't know if there's an amount of time. I didn't see one. But this would be an hour show if it were me.
Hey, yeah, let's add to this too, because remember, now I'm thinking big break, because in the big break, they did have that when they were playing teams things, the guy who won the last challenge would be like, all right, that's my teammate. And he picks the best one. And so you get the last one left. They should put all these dudes in one house as well. And
yes.
no chefs like they normally have at major championships and have their personal masseuse and stuff come in. No, you get a bunk and you're going to have to share with so-and-so in this room. And we'll see how that goes.
That should be an event every year. 150 guys in a dorm room. No chefs, no athletic teams. Just like go play.
That should be Q school.
Yeah, that should be Q school. I do it like Big Brother, where we can see the cameras 24 hours a day. We can look
tour
in.
Camp.
Yeah,
no, I don't want to see Scotty and someone in the sauna. No, let's not do that.
It'd be good for memes. All right, the big news out of the week is that our European Ryder Cup team is set. Now both teams are set. Mina, can you share my screen? This is the selections made by Captain Luke Donald. If they look like the chalk and they look familiar, that is because they are. The entire industry, us included, were able to prognosticate this perfectly. The official picks from Captain Luke: Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Ludwig Oberg, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, and John Rahm. No surprises in sight, Mr. Immelman.
That's Murderer's Row right over there. And yes, there were no surprises. Everyone kind of knew it. Heck, man, I would have put my mortgage on the fact here. I know I was lobbying for both Højgaards, but Rasmus played well over there. Nikolai had a subpar year, but there are just so many combinations that Luke Donald has here. And this crowd, you could almost see, like when you watch the selection shows for the US and for the European team, it was a different vibe, man. These Euros, they were all smiling, all the selections. They were like, yeah, let's get this. We know what we did in Rome. We believe in ourselves. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Remember, Rasmus was in the team room when Nikolai played there in Rome, so he knows the drill too. So shucks, I mean, this is a really good team, and it's a really experienced team. And I feel like experience and this galvanized sort of unit of one that they are, that's going to be what they're going to lean on to withstand all of the noise and such that you're going to get from the fans up there on Long Island.
As Mark mentioned, the only difference, swap out the first name of the Højgaard. We get Rasmus instead of Nico. I imagine Nico will also be around in the team room this time around. That's the only rookie. Greg, Rasmus, the only rookie, because we know at least all these guys at the very minimum played in Rome. So this is a more experienced squad, at least in terms of rookies go, because there are 4 debutants on the American side.
Yes, and it shows if you look at total Ryder Cups, the Europeans have 32. The U.S. has 15. So there's way more experience here. These guys have played in many of them 3 Ryder Cups. I mean, Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Hatton, Rahm, all 3. Rose, 6. Rory, 7. They are. I mean, Justin Thomas, to contrast this, is the most experienced United States player who's played in 3 Ryder Cups. That's fascinating. A fascinating concept to me. I think this team looks really strong in a lot of ways. The other thing that really stands out to me is some of their records in certain formats they just have some serious specialists. John Rahm's 4-0-0 in foursome play. Justin Rose is 7-2-1 in foursome play. I mean, these are crazy records. Tommy Fleetwood, 4-0-0 in foursome play. Ludwig Oberg may be on that path too, although he's only played one Ryder Cup. He's 2-0-0 in foursome play. This is
one of those wins was 9-7 over Brooks and Scheffler. Remember that?
How could I forget?
It was there. It was the loudest I've ever heard anything golf related.
Gosh.
I'm very curious if these pairings that Luke Donald chooses, how similar they are to what we saw in 23.
Well, continuity is the big word, Mark. So here we go. We have not seen this level of continuity basically in my lifetime, at least, because this is the first time that Europe has run back the same captain in back-to-back Ryder Cups in 30 years. So that alone is fairly rare. Then you get 4 of the same 5 vice captains and 11 of the same 12 players. We have not seen anything like this really before. How big of a deal is that?
The way I see it is look, the one thing the Euros do very well when it comes to the Ryder Cup is they adopt this sort of like we always the underdogs sort of a mentality. And ever since Seve and company there, when the Americans would fly on the Concorde and the Brits would not fly first class, or the Euros, they were always like, the Americans are better than us, let's take them down. It was bulletin board material. And they always engaged the players. Even when Bernard Gallagher and Tony Jacklin were longtime captains there, he empowered his players, right? And if you're getting the same captain coming back, that tells me that the 12 guys in the team room, the players, who are the tips of the spear, were very vocal in saying, we want this guy back. And so the DP World Tour said, sure, this is really good for business for us. Yeah. And so it speaks to the morale of this crowd. And what I love too, with the way the whole thing is panned out, is that, again, you lose one, but you just plug it with one that's almost identical in Rasmus Højgaard.
It cannot get closer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for Luke Donald, he's sort of going there, this is too good to be true. And now the one thing about the Luke Donald I know is he's not going to kind of just go, all right, we know what we're doing. He's still on top of it. He's that kind of a guy. He got to the number 1 player in the world, never winning a major, just because he was so thorough at everything that he did, and his game was so rounded. Well, he wasn't long, but he found a way to play around his weakness and develop other strengths. So he's going to line these guys up exactly right, according to not just the data metrics, but his sense for it too. Because if you watch him, the way he kept things going there in Rome, when you win the first session 4-0, you could trot the same guys out there in the afternoon and go, have at it, boys. Yeah. But he didn't. In the afternoon, he stayed with his picks. And then the following morning, after going, all right, well, we're up now, let's do the same thing, he kept moving stuff around with the order of the play. And every player who got out there, it's like they got on the first tee and they were ready for this thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that I kind of need to see from this team now, because you can point out Sepp Straka hasn't been playing well, but trust me, he'll be around. For foursomes, he's so accurate off the tee, everyone wants to play with him. You can point at Rasmus Højgaard, rookie. But Rasmus is going to make a fine partner for someone because he bashes it and he makes a lot of birdies for 4 balls. My question is with Matt Fitzpatrick, who's played in a number of these things, but his record is subpar. So you got to find this guy a partner where he can thrive, or hopefully he brings some form. And of all the players on that list there, aside from Fleetwood, I feel like Matt Fitzpatrick's probably playing the best. And he went and proved himself to Luke Donald by playing the last few events, including out there in Switzerland at the Omega European Masters, to say to Captain Donald, I'm like, I'm proving that I'm worthwhile of this team, because Matt Wallace had a decent shot. And Fitzy was like, no, I'm playing well. Watch me earn this spot. And he did. So that's the question mark. But the way he's going, I'm sure he'll keep some of this form going on.
Yeah, much better recent form. But to Mark's point, 1-7 is the record for Matt Fitzpatrick in the Ryder Cup. 12.5% of possible points. It's the worst on either squad here in 2025. They might be underdogs in their hearts, but they're also underdogs, Greg, on the betting board. The United States team -145 to Europe's +150. Obviously, the venue has a lot to say about this. And It's been a lot of home team victories in the last 30 some odd years. So how do you look at the chances of these two squads when we get to Bethpage?
Well, I do feel like this European team is strong and strong in the right ways. In the past, they've gone really heavy with their best players, right? They've leaned on Rory and Rahm and those kind of players to play a lot of matches, to play a heavy workload. And I think that's a really kind of a hidden advantage for them, because if you just look at what their best players do in certain areas, they're very good. Like they're longer at the top end than the U.S. team. That's kind of new. It seems like everybody on the U.S. team hits it like 305. And the Europeans have Oberg, who's up at 313, Højgaard at 318, Rory at 323, Rahm 315. Like they got some, aside from Bryson, bigger firepower than we do, but they don't have a lot of depth in their distance. With their iron play, they got guys like Hovland and Lowry and Straka and Fleetwood, who are some of the best iron players on the PGA Tour. But then there's a lot of weaker iron players as well. And in the putting, I do think the U.S. has an advantage in the putting. But you got Rory, who's been a great putter this year, and a lot of guys who have been sort of okay. So they have, in my opinion, a great ability based on the skill sets of these players and the experience of these players. They have a really strong ability to adjust to the golf course setup that Keegan Bradley brings to the table. And so while I think the biggest advantage for the U.S. is likely the crowd, I think the Europeans can handle every other advantage that the U.S. may try to present or take advantage of.
The way that these teams prepare is always something that gets discussed, Mark. I mean, we know that there was a big to-do about basically no Americans playing like the 4 or 5 weeks leading into the Ryder Cup in Rome. That is seemingly going to change. There's going to be, by all accounts, 10 Ryder Cuppers playing the Pro Tour next week in Napa. Bryson DeChambeau will not be there. Reports are Xander Schauffele will not be there. We will not get the official field list until Friday at 5:00. On the DP World Tour side, or maybe the European Tour side, you've got Rory McIlroy playing this week in Ireland. You've got Shane Lowry playing there. Their big event, the BMW PGA Championship, is next week. It seems like we're going to get a Ryder Cup where a lot more players have played their way into form this time around.
Yeah, it was almost, or it is almost mandatory that they play, given the debacle that was Rome. How the US came in there and honestly looked ragged from the start. And I don't want to say they didn't take it seriously, because all of these guys take this thing seriously. But you got the sense that the Europeans wanted it more. And when you talk about want, when everyone would talk about Keegan and if Keegan should play or not, when you're around Keegan Bradley, you could sense the desire inside the guy and the passion. It's like it's life or death with him. So when Keegan Bradley's at the helm, you're not going to have guys taking weeks off. You're just not, because of the desire that the man has. And his way is infectious. And I'm sure, these guys have professional pride, and there's pretty big egos involved here. And I don't care if, the US were like whatever over there in Rome and they came in underprepared. When you get yourself a 9 and 7 from someone in foursomes, that stays with you for a bit. And there's a little ego going on to say, that's not who we are. We need to play. We need to prepare. While you guys were talking, Justin Thomas has just posted. He goes back from break, working on the game. And so you're going to see all of the guys getting back into it, because now they've got to make up for what was a drubbing the last time these two teams lined up. And here's the thing. For Keegan, the ante is high right now, right? Because if they win, he's the hero. If they lose, gosh, man, he's going to be public enemy number 1. and people are going to second guess every single thing he's done with all of those picks and all of this stuff. So it's real now. I mean, if ever there was, everyone's important, but if ever there was one that's really important for the Americans, it's at home in New York. You've got the table set for you. Now don't screw it up.
Those 2 years of USA, Captain Keegan chants are going to be going out the window if they don't win in Bethpage. Now, Greg, this is interesting because I think a lot of this is how you frame this. It's the messaging. The team that is lining up in front of you is nearly to a man the team that drubbed you in Rome. This is your revenge. This is your opportunity to get back at them. This is a team. I mean, Scottie Scheffler literally left Marco Simone in tears 2 years ago. This could be some pretty motivational stuff. You frame this the right way.
Yes, that opportunity is clearly there. I mean, what did Rory McIlroy say right after they won in Rome? We're going to Bethpage.
That's right.
We're going to win.
We're going to get you at Bethpage too.
Like us. And it basically is exactly the same. If you didn't know what you were looking at, you'd think it's exactly the same team. They've been practicing together for 2 years. But I think there are a couple things that I find really interesting. What does this come down to? I think for the U.S. to win this Ryder Cup, it comes down to their top players. I'll tell you why. I actually have a lot of confidence in Burns, Cantlay, and Young. I think Americans, like Mark was talking about the motivation. Rick, you were just talking about the motivation. I think American captains have done a really good job of that. Like, you got to do what the team needs, especially for the captain picks. The players in every Ryder Cup since 1999, the players who were picked that were outside the top 12 are 27, 20, and 15 for the U.S. There have been a lot of routes that the U.S. have been on the wrong side of in that time. Those guys have handled it okay for the most part. In singles, they're 10, 4, and 6. How about this? This is fascinating to me. The last pick on the U.S. Ryder Cup team, at least according to the point standings, right? Mm-hmm. This year it was Sam Burns. This year it'll be Sam Burns. Last time it was JT. Before that, I believe it was Scheffler. But all the way back since 1999, the last picked player on the U.S. team is 8, 1, and 3 in singles. Like, I believe that these guys come in motivated. And what Keegan did by not picking himself could extend that kind of motivation to more than the last guy or the last 3 guys picked. And my hope is that it does, because I do think going up against this European team, the Americans are going to have to rely on that.
You think, let me bounce that back to you, Greg. You think it is a combination of the motivation? Is it the depth of the United States players? They often get a Burns Wiesberger. It may be in that slot to match up against. What do you think it is? 8, 1, and 3 is pretty outstanding.
It's outstanding. I was shocked. Like, half of these are losing teams, more than half. So go through some of them. You got JT, obviously a very good player, who is last. That's one reason why somebody gets picked. They're experienced. You know who they are. I'm taking a chance on JT regardless of where he is in the points.
He beat Sepp Straka on Sunday.
He was 8th in the order, I believe. Scheffler dominated Rahm, went 3rd in the order. Obviously, we know what Scheffler's become. Took a chance on a young star, and he was 14th in the standings. Finau in 2018, he went 2 and 1. The team played terrible. He won his singles match. He was in the 5th match.
Smoked Tommy Fleetwood 6 and 4.
You could argue that's, looking at that day going into it, that's an important place. 5th guy out. Could be a really pivotal match. 2016, Ryan Moore was 20th in the standings. He gets picked. He wins.
Lee Westwood, 1 up.
That was the winning point of the whole Ryder Cup.
What was but what were you going? What was his record? Because what I'm hearing here is this: if you're playing well, Because remember, it's unlike the President's Cup where everybody plays. You got to. Some guys will sit more than others, and the guys who are playing well will play well. Whether you are the number 1 ranked guy coming in or the 12th ranked guy coming in.
Yep.
So JT plays every match, and you get the guys that play every match. So that kind of skews these points a little bit, as if I'm understanding you correctly.
So JT was 1, 2, and well, I'm looking at singles here, right?
Oh, okay, right.
So here's the reason for the singles. JT goes 1, 2, and 1. He played with Jordan Spieth, who
they were both
played
bad.
in egg.
Yeah,
I thought JT was pretty good.
Thought he was okay.
Point is, you got a teammate here, and how, why did they lose? Kind of deal. Singles, this is straight up. Did you go win your match or not? And all these guys win they go win their match. Who's the one guy who lost?
While you look that up, I wonder.
I want to say something, Rick.
Yes.
As I look at the United States team, this is coming from a former college coach, and this is respectfully to Tommy Fleetwood. In match play, there's 2 guys I can count on. Patrick Cantlay, right? And Justin Thomas. When it comes to the United States uniform and 2 boys who are dogs, those are the alpha dogs in that team room over there. Now, I know Scotty is otherworldly with the way he's playing right now, but 18-hole match play is just a different animal. And maybe now better putter Scotty will be a different deal in this tournament. But when Scotty was just out hitting people and not making the putts when he was on the green from 15, 20 feet, it's just a big scalp that the European team get to take down. And when they do, they go and celebrate in the evening. So it actually jacks them up even more. So again, there's my 2 guys, Cantlay, JT. The rest of them, you got to find some game as far as I'm concerned. Match play game.
Here's that quote. I wanted to make sure I got the quote right from Rory McIlroy. This was after the victory in 2023. Said, quote, "I've said this for the last probably 6 or 7 years to anyone that'll listen. I think one of the biggest accomplishments in golf right now is winning an away Ryder Cup. And that's what we're going to do at Bethpage." End quote. That's good. I'm hyped now.
It's real good. No, he said that again. He said that for a long time. That's also in a winning moment.
Oh, yeah. Easy to say after you win a home game and you were the leading point scorer.
Yes. Like, I remember Dustin Johnson wins in 2020 at the Masters. And he's like, he was so inspired. I want to win a lot of these things. He had all these like aspirations that you didn't know he ever had. It's like, well, all right. Were those real, or did you just win the Masters?
Right.
I would be ready to run. I don't know what I would be feeling. So, but I do think with Rory, it's different. I think Rory circles things on his calendar that are months, even years in advance.
Well, along those lines, I heard something to the effect of, and I paraphrase, Shane Lowry goes, when he was asked about this Ryder Cup, he goes, "If we win this thing, it's going to make a really average year fantastic." Mm-hmm. And that's how they all think. That is the difference between the Euros and the Americans. Look, winning the Grand Slam is monumentous. Dreams come true. Winning a major championship, the Open or something for these guys is massive. But they hold a Ryder Cup victory in the same light as what they would hold a major championship victory. That's just who these guys are. And in a weird sort of a way, that separates them because it's like they show up with their hair on fire, man. And yes, they were smashed at Whistling Straits, embarrassingly so. But they cobbled together a team and came back when everyone, remember, after that Ryder Cup over there, were going, "Oh my gosh." I was on a show, remember, with you guys and Kyle Porter. He goes, "The US may win the Ryder Cup for the next 20 years in a row." Didn't happen.
No, it did not.
Nope.
In fact, it did not.
You still need to pay me my bet.
20. Yeah. Well, he's probably got 6 years left. 22 days to go until September 25th when this Ryder Cup kicks off. Gentlemen, one final thing to do here, something we've never done before, something that we will do every single week. We are going to reveal our survivor picks for NFL week 1. There is obviously a very highly anticipated slate of games. Our contest on Splash is on the verge of being full. Do not wait. Go now. If you miss out on it, there are a variety of other games, but ours is private. You will not find it in the lobby. The only way that you can get to it is via the link in the description. So, without further ado, Mina, release the grid. No, look at you, 2 peas.
How about that?
2 peas in a pod. The same selection, Greg and Mark. Greg, who you picking this week?
This is the Denver Broncos. Let's ride.
The Broncos over the Tennessee Titans. Mark, that is the same path that you have gone.
Yeah, I see your pick on my little piece of paper here. I had 2 picks. Have I lost you guys over there?
Nope.
Okay, good, because I hit a button. Here's my picks that I was looking at all my research on a post-it note. I really was entertaining Arizona over New Orleans. Mm-hmm. My issue with that was away in New Orleans, even though they're not that good this year, which makes me very happy. In the Superdome, they just turn up at times, behind those fans. But I just think with Bo Nix, they're in the Broncos now into the 2nd year. He's dynamic. Their defense is awesome. Their home crowd is great. And they got a rookie quarterback coming into town. So I'm very much with Greg. Let's do this, Greg. Let's let's survive 1 week.
Those Denver Broncos 8.5-point favorites. Remember, once you use the team, you can't use them again. So this is Denver being used out of the gate. I have used the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, I'm picking on the New Orleans Saints. And Armina, she's gonna get her result early. She's gonna get her result on Thursday night, because this is the opening game of the week. The Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles, 8.5-point favorites for the Birds. I do not think she's going to give us her insight unless she pops in. Maybe not. I'm not. No, she's not. But I imagine it's something like
this needs no explanation.
Go Birds is probably something like that.
Rick, you got to say it like a Philly person would say. Eagles. What do you guys call it?
That's right. The Eagles. Yeah. The Eagles over the Cowboys. That's right. So that's Broncos for Greg and Mark. I'm going with the Cardinals. Armina is going with the Philadelphia Eagles. And our contest is going to be full very, very shortly. So go get after it. Gents, congratulations. The offseason is basically over. We will be back at it again for the Procore next week in our normal time slots. But any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Broncos country. Let's ride. All right. This has been the Second Cup podcast for Armina, for Mark, for Greg. I'm Rick. We'll see you next time.